Are you one of the 53% of companies looking to hire new employees this fall? If so, here's some key things to consider. 12% of full-time workers are now fully remote, with another 29% working some fashion of a hybrid schedule. 29% of those employees want to continue working fully remote, and over 9% want the flexibility to work at least one day a week remote. What am I getting at here? Well, an awful lot of companies are going to be out there competing for a limited pool of workers, and it seems schedule flexibility and remote work options are becoming more and more important to candidates with every passing day. In 2023, 38% of the US workforce turned to freelance work, and 90% of workers are at least open to the idea of freelancing or gig work. So maybe your traditional approach doesn't allow for the type of flexibility today's workers are looking for. How are you supposed to compete? What if you embraced the trend and capitalized on the willing and available freelancers out there? What I'm really asking here is it time for you to join the gig economy? Monsters, 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 Hello everyone, and happy Halloween. Welcome to another spooky edition of the Recruiting Roundup. We're back here each month with a look at a different recruiting or talent acquisition topic. For Randall Reilly, I'm Joshua Miller. Now, we've covered loads of topics here already, so if you'd like to take a look at some of our past videos, those can be found in the content section on our Randall Reilly site or on our YouTube channel. And while you're there on our channel, go ahead and subscribe so you never miss out on any of our new content. Now, back to the gig economy. I'm going to go ahead and preface this with a disclaimer. I get it. Yes, I know that there are people watching this very video who are going to say, no way, can't do it. We simply can't operate that way. And for some of you, that may be absolutely true. But I would just say, remember that it wasn't that long ago that many of us would have said employing a largely remote force, or in some cases, fully remote workforce, was impossible too.
Well, they were wrong then, weren't they?
In any case, I'm going to be dropping some figures and stats in here that are pretty interesting. So even if you happen to be one of those saying, gig work, schmig work, I'm out of here, hold on. Give me a few minutes. I think you're going to want to hear some of these stats. First off, what do I mean by gig economy? Well, it's really just a fancy shorthand way of describing that piece of the economy that consists of short-term contract or freelance workers, opposed to the traditional full-time employee model. And it is worth pointing out that much of the gig work that takes place today is digital and happens online, but not all of it. For our purposes here today, thinking about it in a short-term contract approach or premise is what some of you may be able to take advantage of. For instance, if you were to want to try this approach, a good place to start would be to have a stable base of full-time employees to keep the absolute necessities handled, and then hire out independent contractors or freelancers on a seasonal or short-term contract basis, depending on your individual needs. Like maybe bring on a few freelancers to tackle a specific project. This approach can allow you to hire specialists in an area with unique skills perfectly suited for that particular job at hand. And when the project is finished and you're looking to start something new requiring different skills, move on and contract out different freelancers to fill those needs. Short-term contract work can also allow you to scale up your staff quickly to meet market demands, and may even be useful to cover temporary full-time employee gaps that may occur when someone goes on maternity leave, takes a long vacation, or has some sort of extended medical issue. But are there enough freelancers out there to feed your recruiting and hiring funnel?
Feed me, Carbon! Feed me now!
Well, remember that stat? 90% of workers say they'd at least be open to the idea of freelancing, and there are currently over 57 million participating in the gig economy. That's roughly 35% of the workforce, and it doesn't appear that there will be a change in that trend anytime soon. It's estimated that over 50% of the workforce will be participating in the gig economy by 2027. And considering that the gig economy is now growing 3 times faster than the total US workforce, that's not really an unreasonable estimate. Even with all those stats, it may seem like a stretch for some companies to take the plunge and try to embrace short-term employees. Costco, Petco, and Safeway are just 3 of the major brands that have started bringing in freelancers and gig workers. But what's the advantage? I mean, employees get more freedom and flexibility, but what's in it for these companies? What would be in it for you? Aside from the advantages I mentioned a minute ago of scalability and covering those short-term gaps and specialty projects, there is another key advantage to hiring at least some short-term or gig workers: pay. We always talk about pay when it comes to finding and hiring talent, but on average, gig workers make 58% less than full-time employees. That sounds too good to be true from a payroll perspective, right? How's that even possible? On average, freelancers are working with 4 to 5 clients per month, and they are often working on very specific tasks and jobs, which means they cost less than the average full-time employee who's on the clock. But why would they even be willing to work like this? It all comes down to that freedom and flexibility. Freelancers will often be cheaper than full-time employees because, one, they're not full-time. They're contracted at least most of the time for a very specific and finite job or project. In addition to that, a lot of gig workers work remote. So when we're talking about jobs involving those digital skills, as long as the tasks for the project are completed, they can simply move on and start hammering out tasks for their other clients. They can also dictate their own schedule. If they start to feel tired or burn out, no problem. They can just stop accepting work until they're ready to jump back in. These advantages are what's so attractive to freelancers and enticed millions of people to take the plunge and join the gig economy. Now, this arrangement is a little hard for some employers to get used to. You don't really have full access to the workers, nor do you have the oversight as you would for a full-time in-office employee. But if you have specialized projects and tasks or temporary and/or seasonal needs, then this freelance or gig work approach can help you meet your goals. And again, I get it. Short-term contract is not for everyone, but with industries like manufacturing, construction, trade and transport, and healthcare and educational services, all among the top industries embracing the gig economy right now, it may be worth at least considering. As was the case with remote work, while everyone is not going to be on board with the idea, it seems that there is a shift in the employment landscape that is and will continue to happen. I hope you guys got some useful information out of this today. If this topic wasn't for you, don't forget to check back next month for a new topic or to go through our previous videos like I mentioned at the top of the show. If you have talent acquisition needs and would like to talk to our team about how we can help you, give us a shout. Links are down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Happy Halloween.
Monsters, 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 running from all the monsters, monsters, monsters. A little nonsense now and then is relished by the wisest.